Let's get started with set 2. My name is Ilana Wolf. I wear a few hats, a photographer sometimes, and now it is my great pleasure to introduce multi-award-winning author Keith Garebian. Keith was born in Bombay, India, to an Anglo-Indian mother and an Armenian father. He immigrated to Canada in 1961, obtained an MA in English from what is now Concordia University, and a PhD at Queen's. He launched his career as a freelance literary and theater critic, and his articles have appeared in numerous newspapers, magazines, and anthologies. Keith has also published more than a dozen books on theater and literary criticism, including a remarkable biography of William Hutt titled Soldier Actor, released this spring with Guernica. Keith was recently honored with the selection of a piece from his collection Blue, the Derek Jarman poems, for adaptation for choir and instruments by leading American composer Gregory Spears. The piece will be premiered by the Crossing Choir in Philadelphia. Keith has 7 books of poetry, 2 with Guernica, including his new collection, A Fearless and Urgent Journey into Armenian Genocide, Memory, and Trauma. Please welcome Keith Garebian to the stage to read from his newest collection, Poetry is Blood.
Thank you to Guernica, and thank you to Ilana for a very shrewd, sensitive editing. I'm going to read one poem for each section. There are 4 sections in the book. The bird cries in an orchard. The bird cries, its claws tangled in wires. There is an orchard where a bird is tangled in a place of fat fruit. You can hear the cries from the hilltop. There is a world where cries are heard in hilltops and in orchards. Sky exists for a bird and for cries. Orchards exist for fat fruit. A bird cries in an orchard. I know why this is so. As long as there is fruit, there will be birds. There are wires to keep the fruit clear. So long as there are wires, there will be cries. When the bird falls in an orchard, you can hear the cry. Inside my memory, a cry. Just as there is a cry inside my memory, so there is a fallen bird in an orchard of fat fruit. You can see something dark in an orchard from the hilltops. The orchard nothing but things torn, cries of birds and fat fruit. Inside the mind is an orchard. In that orchard a bird cry and wasted fruit. The orchard is a wound. There is an orchard without fat fruit without an orchard in the mind. The skin of the fruit is a thing to be torn. The cries of birds on a sunny day inside the skin, the sound, the wound. You are silent before such things. The second poem is a monologue. It's written in the manner of Gertrude Stein. Talat Pasha was one of the infamous 3 Pashas who were de facto rulers of the Ottoman Empire during the First World War. In response to the German ambassador who persistently brought up the Armenian question in 1918, he's claimed to have said, "What on earth do you want? The question is settled. There are no more Armenians." A true portrait of Talat Pasha. Would you like it? Would you like it if I told? Would you like it if I told you about the end? The end, if I told you, would you like it? If I, at the end, told you would like it? Would you like the end told? If I would. What do you want? You want it now? Now. And now, exactly as I told you, an end must be put. Exactly an end, however you want, as I told you. Settled. The question settles exactly. Settles with no regard. Settles either age or sex or scruples do not regard. Now exactly repeat, with no regard. Age, sex, scruples, no regard. Exactly. Repeat. No regard. What do you want? You want what? Would you like the end be told exactly? Would you like it? You want it now? It is settled. No more. There are no more Armenians. 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 There are no more Armenians, as I told you exactly. Repeat exactly as I told you. Repeat exactly as I told you. An end as I told you exactly, with no regard. In 2013, I made my first and to date only trip to Armenia, the land of my father, with whom I didn't get along for most of our lives together. And I saw more of the country in that short time than he ever got to see, because he was exiled, you could say, at the age of 5 as an orphan. So this one is a pilgrimage, and it's an autobiographical, melancholy lyric. My mind on its daily rounds knows the center is not always certain. The moment rarely malleable, as my heart in its hunger clings to angular pictures of stone walls and living rock, swallowtail carvings, cone-shaped mountain with its icy crest, Ghani temple aiming at the sun, basalt porticos, lion-head waterspouts, mosaic floors, decaying steam rooms, stone floors broken by seismic eruptions, a future manacled to past as old as Babylon and Rome. Terraced vineyards on stony hills cannot hide a flawed fate. The prime element is stone, not soil. Native stone, not native soil. Open-air museum of marble, granite, pumice, and tufa. So many hearts locked inside stone. If I touch the rock, I feel these hearts in a hard country blooming with royal skulls, sad cavities where old songs fester close to the barbed wire border. Ararat in the background stands in chains. History towers above mineral springs, bubbling in turquoise sunrise over pink flamingos and pelicans. As the moon hatches pale light, deep silence shrouds my musing. There are lessons to be learned from listening to stone, for the wordless can be brooding speech, unsung, yet undying. Flesh has become grass, hearts fuse to mountain, our footprints, speech trailing off like autumn, assertions falling like gold leaves. Wind flutes its way past plums and vines, trains flying long wings against broad horizon. Blue light descends into ash-black shadow over stone and soil. I walk in my orphan father's shoes, their footfall imprinting his voicelessness. Words between us were silence disguised, setting us adrift on a flood up the mountain. Footprints are dust, speech vanished, the heart broken. Knowing only it will reach somehow, he always right again, visible and audible in its high, parched ache. And to conclude from the last section, finishing sentences, which is marked by aborted syntax and a rush of language, a sort of concentration of urgencies. You get the sense of something perpetually becoming, and there's an internal logic with the unfinished sentences. I hope you were able to grasp it. So it's called finishing sentences. Somewhere my body goes taut when all history is burned out down to a slow, tortuous migration to the vanishing point on the horizon line. Appears to be where a dense and baleful wind blows. There are blank sockets in place of eyes which once skeletons from another place and century, split and carved, rooted in stone, gathering to itself. Their light hearts turn within us all. Disasters are none as the bearing of the stones. What drums in my bones? I feel the surging. I cannot forget the Golgotha we trod century-old, and the wolf's belly, the sheep's meekness, they climbing over the dead. Should we fling the Bible away while we flap frantically in a room from which it is always possible to view your life winding in me, while mine unwinds like spring, awakening thoughts? Spring poems are a condition of the dialogue that lasts a lifetime, is one which, after considering what was better, a world without Armenians, or the intentions of these words and poetry, it is one thing to insist like Adorno that there can be no poetry after. Words and things can sometimes be. Language is, first of all, any theory of the self. Everything you hear in your head, heart, and body when you read this, by the very act of naming, one enters. There is no ladder, but pull yourself up by the roots. Or, if your future has a history, then it is especially evident in the way of personal metaphor. My eyes are grooved with persuasions of shame, which is the spur for the writer's rage to order words. I stand in the impudent ranks. Anything I say is as partial as, what was it like when to the burning mouth no part was in touch with art? Is not writing also part of our words for the dead, uttered in a room where you are reading? After you've learned things, you're left. But we are the mountain, so